Hi friends, welcome back to Author Notes. I'm Tanya E. Williams. When I began writing historical fiction, I realized there's one thing that makes past lives feel alive to me. Not just what people thought, but how they whispered, shouted, hoped, and waited across the miles. In today's video, we're stepping into the world of 1920s communication. Letters, telegrams, postcards, the first flicker of telephone lines. Exploring how people held their secrets, shared their hopes, and waited for replies. Because sometimes the silence between the letters is just as telling as the words on the page. In the 1920s, long before email or instant text messages, a letter was more than paper. It was connection. It was hope. It was a lifeline across distance. Whether someone was writing to a soldier overseas, a sweetheart across town, or a distant family member, a single sheet of paper carried emotion, time, and memory. I like to imagine the hands that held those letters, the subtle tremor before folding, the careful sealing, the stamp pressed, the walk to the postbox. For authors like me, that simple act, writing a letter, becomes a powerful tool to ground characters deep in their era. But letters were slow. Sometimes people need urgency. That's where telegrams came in. A telegram meant speed, often news that had to travel fast. A death, a birth, a secret, or a sudden opportunity. Because every word cost, telegrams were brief, clipped, and efficient. Arrived safe, all well, or sometimes stop everything. For a 1920s character, receiving a telegram could change everything. It might be the moment a safe life tilts, or the moment a hidden secret stands exposed. Not all communication was grand or urgent, though. Postcards, short notes, small scraps of paper, these carried the quiet rhythms of daily life. A postcard from the coast, a note tucked into a coat pocket, a quick message passed along by hand. These small interactions offer texture, intimacy, and realism to a story. They show lives lived between major events, relationships built on waiting, longing, small glimpses of hope or worry. By the 1920s, telephone service existed, but it wasn't everywhere. Many relied still on letters or telegrams. Rural areas, remote towns, or less affluent homes might not have access. For some characters then, telephone calls might have felt like magic. For others, the silence of the wire. This uneven reach becomes an important storytelling tool. Who gets to speak instantly, and who must wait? Who hears the news, and who only waits for paper to arrive? One of my favorite things about writing stories set in the 1920s is the way communication shapes emotion. Because when you must wait for a letter, when a telegram arrives unexpectedly, when a call might come but doesn't, it creates tension that is both historical and deeply human. For the characters in the Hotel Hamilton, a delayed letter may mean uncertainty. A sudden telegram could indicate trouble. A small note warms the heart with connection. And a missed message is equal to a misunderstanding. These small moments, the pauses, the silences, the waiting, they reveal what a character fears, hopes for, and holds back. And for readers like you, who value emotional depth, slow burn tension, and the quiet courage of women navigating their worlds, these communication methods bring history to life in intimate, resonant ways. In a world without instant messages, a single letter can echo for days, weeks, or months. A delayed telegram can change a life forever. A missed post can bury a secret. That's it for today. If you enjoyed this historical deep dive, I'd love for you to join me next week for another episode of Author Notes. In the meantime, do you have a favorite form of communication? Letters, postcards, phone calls, or maybe you've kept an old letter that still means something today. Let me know in the comments. Until next time, friends, happy reading. I like to imagine the hands that held those letters, the subtle tremor before folding, the careful sealing, the stamp pressed, the walk to the postbox. For authors like me, that simple act, writing a letter, becomes a powerful tool to ground characters deep in their era. But letters were slow. Sometimes people needed urgency. That's where the telegraph came in. Whoops, that's the wrong word. Sorry, going again.